Fanboy, 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 fanboy.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Fanboy Reviews Countdown, and today we're gonna count down and take a look at the top 10 worst Nintendo Wii games for the original Wii. Now, the Wii is one of the highest top-selling consoles of all time that's released a lot of great games, but there's quite a few terrible games that's released for it as well, and today we're going to look at the top 10 worst of the worst for the Wii. Alright, let's begin. Number 1. Ninja Bread Man came out in 2007. This was developed by now-defunct UK company Data Design Interactive. Ninja Bread Man became the most infamous shovelware title for the system because of its bland lack of quality testing. It was meant to capitalize on the market for budget Wii games, lower-priced Wii games. This awful action platformer features a lifeless protagonist that's basically a mute, wields useless weapons across limited and repetitive stages. This was originally released for the PS2 way back in 2005, but the Wii port was even worse with horrible camera angles, broken controls, uninspired graphics, and bugs that crippled the entire experience. Stay away from Ninja Bread Man. Number 2. Red Steel from 2006. Released by Ubisoft, Red Steel is considered one of the most disappointing launch games in console history. Meant to showcase the Wii's motion controls and nunchucks, Red Steel failed expectant gamers that are hungry for a brand new FPS. Instead, they were treated to inconsistent controls, slow and sluggish gameplay, horrible graphics, and one of the worst video game soundtracks of all time. Red Steel sounded like a freaking cat walking on a piano keys while you're vomiting at the same time. Ugh. Number 3. Tatsunoko vs. Capcom Ultimate All-Stars came out in 2008. Originally released in Japan, the arcade fighter got its North American release in 2010. Featuring all these unknown characters such as Ken the Eagle, Joe the Condor, and Yatterman 1, this was another desperate cash-in by fighting game developers to pit two unrelated companies against each other as some kind of fighting game gimmick. The gameplay is bogged down by linear controls and very simplistic combos that provide no innovation. We've seen, Marvel vs. Capcom, DCU vs. Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter Cross Tekken, Capcom vs. SNK, and countless others. This is one of these pathetic arcade fighters, and they really need to face the fact that nobody is buying these games anymore. Number 4. No More Heroes 2 Desperate Struggle came out in 2010. This is one of the worst action hack-and-slash games of the 7th generation. No More Heroes 2, basically the sequel to the first No More Heroes, this basically featured stupid 8-bit mini-games that aren't fun at all. They're not fun, there's no good graphics, no replay value in these little mini-games. There's too much focus on sexy characters, which means that it's very misogynistic. It's very sexist. Okay, they try to make it, oh, it's so sexy. It's very shallow. There's not enough pop culture references or humor in the game, which basically takes away from its enjoyability. You don't have enough humor in it. It's not funny. This game is so terrible, it sold even less than the 360 and the PS3 versions of the original No More Heroes remake. Number 5. Kirby's Epic Yarn from 2010. Now, as the first console Kirby platformer in over 10 years, Epic Yarn is another boring, tedious, garbage Kirby game with very little replay value. The story levels are way too easy, and the game provides absolutely zero challenge for even the most dull-witted gamers. Not only is Kirby for little kids, it's for complete noobs that have never seen a video game before. One of the most pathetic titles in this list, Epic Yarn focuses too much on looking cute rather than being an actual quality platformer, the likes of Mario Brothers or Sonic. Epic yarn? More like epic fail. Number 6. Super Smash Bros. From 2008. This was considered one of the most unoriginal fighting games in history. The Smash Bros. Series had got its start by stealing ideas from other better games like the Outfoxies and Power Stone. But with Smash Bros. Brawl, there's so many technical issues that crippled the game, such as very long loading times, bland stages, and uninspired characters and enemies. The graphics look no better than Smash Bros. Melee for the GameCube, which came out many years before. And ultimately, Brawl is just considered an inferior game to better brawling fighters such as PlayStation All-Stars. If you want a good brawler type, get All-Stars, please. Number 7. Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword from 2011. This was considered the worst Zelda game for the Wii. Skyward Sword was rushed way too early for the system and provides very little innovation, if any at all. The game features this Song of the Hero glitch. It had the bug that basically stopped the game from progressing, which is a very serious game-killing problem, and this just ruins the experience. The Skyward Sword, it's also artificially padded out by menial tasks such as fetch missions and side quests that have nothing to do with the story. If you want a better Zelda game, try Zelda's Adventure for the CDI. Completely superior. I mean, even that game has, better graphics, better audio, better music, better gameplay. Any of the, CDI games are better than Skyward Sword. Ugh. Number 8. Super Mario Galaxy from 2007. Now, every generation of Mario after N64 must have a 3D platformer, but this one may be the worst of them all. Where do I begin? The outdated graphics, it's not even in HD. No 720p, there's no 1080p, not even in 4K. It's 2013 and you don't have 4K graphics from Mario? Even back in 07, it's like outdated. So the graphics looked horrible. The tedious auto camera ruins the experience because you can't even control it. The spring suit power-up in particular, it's very difficult to control, and it ruins the entire experience because, well, Mario's power-ups are never that good to begin with. But you got a really crappy one like the spring suit, it just completely destroys it. And if you want a good Mario platformer for the Wii, get the sequel, Mario Galaxy 2, a better game, far superior than the first Mario Galaxy. Number 9. Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. Again, another game from 2007. That was the third game in the Metroid Prime series. Corruption is definitely corrupted by the poor Wii motion controls. The game also feels a lot less like the previous Metroid games because it's way too linear and the stage designs are very simplistic. Uninspired bosses that feel kind of rehashed already over and over again, and then there's too much emphasis on the first-person shooting aspect instead of the adventure style, very more of exploration type of experience in earlier Metroid games. This is nothing but a pathetic, cheap clone of other shooters like Halo or Call of Duty or even something like Killzone. And to round out this list of the top 10 worst Wii games of all time, number 10, Resident Evil 4 Wii Edition. Came out in 07? 07 was not a good year for the Wii. Just like with Ninja Bread Man, we got another pathetic port of a previous generation PS2 game. And this time we got Resident Evil 4. The Wii Edition is, of course, it uses the motion controls, but doesn't really enhance the gameplay at all. It doesn't improve it. Matter of fact, it makes it more tedious. A completely unoriginal hack re-release. Re-release. Because this was released over and over again. It originally was supposed to be on the GameCube, and then it came on the PS2, and then now it's on the Wii. And it's so pathetic. The Wii system, they can't get any original quality games, so they gotta keep rehashing these old titles that's been out for years. if you want a good shooting game with zombies, you know, you want good zombie shooter type of game, get COD. I mean, there's no other way around it. You gotta get freaking COD for a true gaming experience, for a true shooter, something realistic and visceral and quality instead of this Resident Evil 4 Wii Edition nonsense. Alright, so that's it for the top 10 worst Wii games of all time. These are the most atrocious, pile of crap, absolute garbage games for the system, and if you own or play any of these titles, you haven't played nothing on the Wii because that's a pile of freaking vomit. That's it for this episode of Fanboy Reviews, and until next time, keep fanboying. Yeah!